This video is going to be about doing image gallery in pure JavaScript. So this is the folder I've got with the files and the images I'm going to use. So I've already put these into the editor, and this one is gal.html and pic.js. We'll just preview that, and this is what we have: just HTML, which is a train and the back and forward buttons. So what we do, there's no JavaScript yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to put on click, which calls functions, and we're going to put on click equals, and we'll put it in like speech marks, and we're going to put next and parenthesis. And then for the other one, we're going to put in on click equals speech marks again, and we're going to put that as back parenthesis. And then we're going to put in the image that you would see there will be train. We're going to have to ID that equals gallery, and that is a very important part of this program. You can put any ID you want there, by the way, but this next line, which is to get the external JS, which mine's called pic.js. Yours can be anything you want, but here we go with pic.js, and this is the JavaScript code for that. So there's a variable x equals new array, which is a keyword. Arrays are just basically variables in a block, and what we're going to do is we're going to get speech marks, and we're going to you can put in the beginning of x there's var word, but anyway, in between there we go butter.jpg, which is for my butterfly image, and what we're going to do is comma after that, and again speech marks, and which one's that one? I think this is train.jpg, and another comma. Not there though. We just put, come on, just go back a bit there. Come on. And then JPEG, and then comma, and then the last image that we're putting on here, speech marks again, and we're going to put that as, keep forgetting my images, tractor.jpg. So this can be actually confusing code because you think it would be loops and that, but it's actually, this is how you do it. It's I equals nothing. This is a global variable, and you can now again put var at the beginning of your variables, but I don't usually. We'll go back and put them in line so I know where I'm at. Anyway, a function, so I know which ones my functions are, and this one's next, parenthesis, and the curly brackets in this one. So for functions, always use curly brackets. And what we're going to put in there is that's your arrays, and what we're going to say is we're going to put, this is calling the function, and what we're going to put in there is I plus plus, and that's incrementing the array. So that's I plus plus, and then I'm going to have to put if, and then parenthesis, and I'm going to put if I equals x dot length. So that's the length of the array, and then we put in I equals 0 semicolon, and then the next line is document dot get element by ID. Now the ID is the gallery that we had in our image there. So we just put that, and we put speech marks in there as well. So we do that, put gallery, and then we put dot src, which is source, equals x, and then these bracket things, semicolon, then bracket things is used in arrays, and that's I. So what that does is just calling a different document source, if you like. So we'll save that as pic.js, and then we go back to this one, and then we'll file, save that as well for any changes that we might have made, and we just put that view it in the browser. So now I've got it, didn't save properly there. So there we go. It's just we just clicking it all the way through, and that's what happens. So we've got our forward parts going, our next images, but now for the further with the back ones, which is the easiest part, I always think. So now we're going to have to do on click the back. So we have to call a function for that, and we're going to put in a function, and that has to be back to correspond with the click button. So back parenthesis, and then you see how it corresponds and parallels with that. And now we're going to put curly brackets in and put them down there. And so this one is, I always think, is a bit of a tricky one. Anyway, if parenthesis, and we're going to put in I equals not 0, and then we're going to put in some more curly brackets. So we have to put in 2 of them, of course. So we do that, and then we're going to put in I equals 3 and semicolon. I'll explain that in a little while. And then we're going to put in I minus semicolon, and that is to decrement, which is the opposite of the I plus plus. And this is going to be exactly the same line as this here, because that's the easy part. So I'll copy that, paste that down there, and we see how that goes. So that's exactly the same line as the next button for the back button. So what that basically is calling, if we did have to have I equals 3, if there was anything else, it wouldn't work properly. So we go save the JS file and just refresh the browser. So as we go forward, and now we can go back, and that is absolutely spot on. So that definitely works. And if I change this here to say 1, if you see what that does there, see, this is so important in these things. If I change that to 1 and clicked it again, nothing would happen. So it has to be 3 when there's these amount of images. It would depend on the images you have, but on this particular demonstration, there's only 3. So if we click that all the way through, and there's your image gallery. So thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.